These are actual pictures that we took. This is some of the David used some of the stone that was in the Jebusite fortress and that was already intact, and he built upon those to enlarge for his palace. So when they dig down, they find stones that go back to the Canaanite times, and they find stones that go back to about the 11th century BCE, 10th century BCE, around King David's time. And so you can actually walk and see these places. And the tour guide can take you through there.
Are standing in the palace of David, in the fortress of Zion. That is the name of the palace of David. The fortress of Zion. The Tower of Zion, these walls that you see, this stone that you see, the big wall, it's of the palace of David, and the palace of the Jebusites from ever and time before it. The foundation rock that you see right underneath with the step, this is the foundation rock of the fortress of Zion, everybody.
So what's this?
This is the only known remains of the destruction of the first temple itself. These stones represent which were a supporting wall for a very large structure on the top of the hill. What could be this heavy structure at the top of this hill?
6 months ago, the City of David Foundation, in conjunction with the Shalem Center, began excavating the hilltop. What was found under the earth is believed to be the palace of King David.
So this wall supported the palace of King David. Beneath it is a palace. This building is constructed into various rooms. This is one room behind us, and in fact you can see the stairs heading down. These stairs would have taken you up to a second floor that this column was supporting. The floor was above our heads.
Evidence of the great tragedy of the destruction of the temple and the city of Jerusalem is found by examining the color of the remains.
This is black.
Yeah, so this was burnt?
All this is burnt. This is all ash. All this is ash. You can feel it. It gives a white texture on your fingers when you pick it up. Okay? All of this ash is dated to 586 BCE. The prophet Jeremiah talks about the palaces of Jerusalem going up in flames.
I've visited many excavations. Now mostly they show us the palaces, the thrones where the king sat. Now this is something different, right?
This is. If we look at the square stone over here with the hole in the middle of it, 99% of the people that ask, what is that, have absolutely no idea. That is one of the most important places of the palace. That is the bathroom. You're actually looking at the toilet. It was found years ago. 5 years ago, a team came to us from America and said, we want to study your toilet. Now, what is that soil? That soil told them the diet of the last 3 months of the people living here. What was the diet? Grass and worms. What happened? The Jews here were under exile for 3 years, under siege by the Babylonians. At the end of a 3-year siege, they had been withered down to eating grass and worms.
And there's a still picture of it. Now, whether this was King David's toilet or not, you know, it could have been, you're talking about 500 years of history, 400 years of history of that, or 500 from the time of David to the temple was destroyed, and the city of David was destroyed by the Babylonians. It could have been refurbished and all that, but it would have been the same palace, the same bathroom, because back in those days when they had everything, the sewage system and all that intact, they didn't redo it. It was all in rocks. You know, they don't have the modern things that we have today. So this was definitely the toilet seat that was in the palace during the time when the Babylonians destroyed the whole city of Jerusalem and the temple in 586. That's the approximate date BCE. Now, what's this term, the Milo? It's interesting because we see it has to do with David's building project. In 2 Samuel 5, it says that now David didn't build the Milo or fortify it. He built round about the Milo and inward. And what is it? First Chronicles says the same thing, that David built the city round about, even from Milo round about. Now Joab, the one who conquered the city, as chief of staff, as commander, repaired the rest of the city that was down below. David's castle was up high. Now, it's believed, most of your consensus today is that the stepstone structure right here was the Milo. If you're looking down here, this is the Kidron Valley down here. See how a big drop-off right here? And it's believed that this structure was there during the time of the Jebusites. They built it and everything because in order to support the structure of the palace up here, the Jebusite palace, and David actually built it bigger and further. To actually do that, you had to build up the land. And they did this by building this terrace structure to make a supporting structure because it was just all downhill. Okay, there was a big old gulf here going down the Kidron Valley. So this is what they did in ancient times to build that up. Okay. And here's another angle of the picture of this is believed to be the Milo. David's palace would be, you know, up on the platform that's on top there. And here's some video, short video that I took when I was there, what we're looking at last time. Here's another picture from another angle. That's from above. Another picture. All right, another picture. All right. Now, like David didn't fortify it, but it's Solomon, when he comes to power, he will fortify this. It tells us that he built his own house and Milo and the wall of Jerusalem. So we learn from the scripture, and the archaeological record seems to demonstrate that Solomon actually, on his building projects, actually fortified and rebuilt up the Milo in that area. So, but David didn't. David built inward from it and built his palace. This is interesting, the House of Seals, what they found when they were doing digging. And listen to this.
We found 51 seals imprints, like my fingernail. What is a seal imprint? I'm a king. I have the scribe. I say, hey, write to Dr. Schuyler that he didn't behave today. Give me the scroll. Roll the paper, the papyrus. You take a string, then you take what? No wax.
Clay.
Clay. You push it with clay. It's soft, the clay. Then you take your seal ring, you press on it, and if it's broken, somebody infiltrate it. Now, at 587 BCE, the Babylonian attacked this city. The city of Jerusalem is here. It's not there. Got it? What's happened? The archives got burned. The letter got burned. The ropes, strings got burned. But the stamps, the imprints of clay got glazed. Guys, got glazed. And they left intact 52 seals imprints with the names of the kings and the names of the scribes. 22 of those names are listed in our Bible. So where are we? At the archive, at the palace, at the fortress of Zion.
Towards the end of this dig, we found one of the most miraculous things ever found in Israel. This is a copy. When the Babylonians captured this palace, they lit it on fire and everything burnt away. All the scrolls disappeared. But the seals were hardened like in a kiln. A volunteer, the story goes, pulled one out of the ground just behind me, brought it to the archaeologist. He licked his finger, wiped it away, and he read the name Gemariyahu ben Shaphan. He, in fact, is the scribe of the First Temple period, and his family are the line of scribes. And we find his seal right next to the royal palace. So what you can see here is the entire Bible comes alive. Jeremiah, Gemariyahu ben Shaphan, Yuchal, King David. Here we can look around and we can see the destruction of the First Temple period, and amidst the destruction, life through Jeremiah the prophet and all the people that surrounded him.